people of the internet. The wind has got kind of a chilly breeze to it. It's probably about, ooh, that's cold. It's probably about 40 degrees or so here in the state of Florida, and anywhere below 70 degrees Floridians freeze. So I did the smart thing and I decided to come out to the gun range, and on top of that I decided to go ahead and do some accuracy testing. So I'm out here with my 6.5 Japanese Arisaka chambered in 6.5 Jap. And obviously, as you can see, this one's been sporterized. I take this one hunting every now and then, but I've only shot factory ammunition through this thing. Well, I finally got around to getting the stuff that I need in order to in order to hand load some ammunition for my 6.5 Jap Arisaka, which is definitely a necessity if you want to run this rifle any real amount. So I finally got what I need to be able to reload ammo for it. So I went ahead and I loaded up some ammunition for it, and I'm rocking 140 grain hollow point projectiles, and they are a 264 diameter projectile, which is what the 6.5 Jap calls for. So we don't have a underbore, undersized projectile like we would if I were to fire these 264 diameter projectiles out of my 6.5 Carcano rifle, which I have done on numerous times. Now, that being said, I do know that with my factory loaded ammunition, the 6.5 Jap hits, this particular 6.5 Jap with 129 grain projectiles hits pretty much right where it is that you're aiming. Well, with 140 grain, I decided to go ahead and come out here and see where this would hit. Now, this is slightly downloaded 6.5 Jap. If I were to take this ammunition hunting, then I would probably load it up to proper spec. But just so I get more prolonged brass life, I went ahead and I downloaded the ammunition just slightly. So these 140 grain projectiles should be traveling at around 2,000 feet per second. I don't have a chronograph out here to be able to really judge that. But what I can do is I can send this downrange and see where it hits, and judging by my calculations, it should be about 2,000 feet per second. So I'm going to see whether or not this hits high or low. I know a change in velocity can really dictate where a projectile hits. I'm going to see if it hits high, low, left, right, see what's going on, see what kind of adjustments I have to make. Because I like this loading. I have not fired it yet. I get the feeling that I will like the loading because it's very simple and very easy. It's a rudimentary loading that I got going on here. So I'm going to go ahead, set myself up. I'm going to be from a bench rested position. We're going to slide out to about 25 yards or so. And I'm going to put a round down range. We're going to see where it hits. The minimum range zero for the Arisaka, I believe, is 100 yards or 100 meters. One of those two things. So we should hit slightly high at the 25 yards that we're going to be at. But I have, had some hand loads that hit like 2 feet low or like 4 feet to the left or something like that. So that's basically why I am out here testing this stuff. So let's go ahead. This is reloaded PPU brass. I'm going to send some of this downrange. I get the feeling I'm going to be sliding this table around a lot. Okay, so since this is a properly sized diameter projectile, I don't foresee us having any real accuracy issues. Typically, accuracy issues come whenever you shoot like a 308 diameter projectile out of a most noggin with a 311 or a 312 diameter bore. One of those, I can't quite remember which one it is. Or if you fire like 264 diameter projectiles out of a 6.5 Carcano, doesn't always work all that well. It all depends on your particular rifle. I have not shot these loadings out of this rifle, and I want to see where they hit. So I have a cardboard box down there with a bunch of tape all over it. So hopefully I'll be able to see where these rounds hit. I'm just going to use a regular zero with this. I'm going to hold at the center of my point of aim. We're going to see where these rounds actually strike. I'm going to go ahead and load one round at a time. And we're going to see what happens down there. A little word of warning, whenever you got sporterized rifles like this, don't rest your barrel on your resting stand because it will throw off your zero. I actually had a buddy of mine who really got frustrated with not being able to make his shots on target because he was resting his barrel on a tree branch at the time. All right, let's see how this fires. Okay, well, we fired. Let me walk down there and see where that hit. Actually, I can see it from here. Yeah, it looks like that hit pretty much right where I was aiming. We are a couple inches high, but like I said before, that's kind of to be expected since we have a 100-yard zero and we're at like 25 yards. Well, that's all I need. Let's go ahead and push it back some. Ah, yes, I guess I probably should look at the brass just to make sure that I don't have anything unusual going on. Survey says, no, I'm not seeing any unusual rippling, no signs of overpressure, nothing like that. Hell, I'd say this is good to go. Okay, so now we scooted back out to about 60 yards or so approximately. I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but about roughly 60 yards. I'll put another round downrange, make sure that we don't have a crazy amount of either high hitting or low hitting or left or right hitting. That one round that I fired did look like it hit a bit to the right, but that could have just been me. So we're gonna go ahead and cut out the middle, man, and just try it from this distance. And here we go. All right, let me walk down there and see what that looks like because I cannot see the impact on target from here. Well, all right, we hit about 2 inches away from the original shot. I think that this stuff is officially good to go. It does look like I said, it does look like it is pulling a little bit to the right, and that's fine. I'll just have to Kentucky windage it because this hits dead on with actual factory ammunition. So I'll just have to remember where this hand-loaded spec ammunition actually hits. But man, it is grouping really well so far. All right, one more time. I'm gonna walk down there, see what that looks like. All right, well, I gotta say, I am pleasantly surprised with how well this particular loading is working. Our group size down there is roughly, 3 inches or so. And they are shooting a little high. That's to be expected with the zero of this rifle. And they are shooting slightly to the right, like 2 or 3 inches to the right, which is not really that big of a deal. I'll just make sure that I aim a little bit more left so I can make my shots on target. But besides that, like I said, I'm very pleased with this. This right here is not particularly potent charges of ammo. So I'm not surprised to see that I don't have any bulging or rippling or anything like that, which is a really good sign. So I'm gonna go ahead and save the rest of this 6.5 Jap because this brass, although it is reusable, does have a limited lifespan on it. I'm gonna go ahead and save the rest of this right here for probably other videos where I compare 6.5 to 6.5. So I'm gonna say thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. I am very pleased with how this turned out. Let's go ahead and walk down here and I'll show you guys the target. And while we do that, I'll do my outro. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go and go check that out, including Utreon and Patreon. All right, so this is the grouping that we are looking at. And as you can see, I was aiming about right here. And we are hitting a little bit to the right, just by a couple of inches, really not that big of a deal. And we are hitting slightly high. So we got one round here, one round actually underneath this tape. There's our group right there. That's not bad at all with this hand-loaded stuff that I'm firing here. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually go grab myself another rifle because I got a couple of rifles that I want to zero out today. You guys go off, have a fantastic day. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't
more mainstream.